Okay, I've been trying to do this video and then about Timothy Busfield, and I noticed that and me and my husband did not agree on it. Whereas I was going psychically by feeling like a creepy feeling with him and his wife. And I like Melissa Gilbert. I mean, not big Little House on the Prairie fan. She's actually, I think, 2 years younger than me or 1 year younger than me. Sorry about my hair. It's always sticking up. Okay. Unicorn horn. But, so I didn't do it because, and I didn't like that I didn't do it because I was kind of influenced by my husband. And he's not psychic, but he is intuitive. And I have done cards that I didn't record yet. They're right here, right? They were done last night, right? So sorry about the heavy makeup. I'm just trying to make myself feel better because the last couple of days I've been fighting an infection. I think it's an infection. I have my UTI water that I poured last night, and I still haven't drank it. So that's why I get infections. Anyhow, I listened, and what I do is as an evidential psychic. And all that means is I take evidence, I listen to facts, I listen to everything. Some psychics don't like to listen to anything and go by that. And that's okay. What I do is as soon as I heard, I already went with my gut feeling. As soon as I heard, that he was missing and they were trying to find him. He left his New York house, I think upstate New York, where he lives with Melissa Gilbert, and went in a car and I'm pretty sure he got rid of his phones and his devices. Guilty. That says you're guilty. All right, but everybody is assumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And this is just really my opinion. Although I do believe in myself, can I be wrong? Yes, I can be wrong. And that's why I did not do this reading. What happened was I tried to check the internet. I look at other people's readings, and there was a bunch. There was a dowsing rod reading. There was a couple of tarot card readings, and I looked at them. And then the next day or 2 days later, when it seemed like he's going to get out because TMZ, and I don't believe in TMZ. This is why. Look who used TMZ to her benefit, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Okay, a couple of years ago when she was in jail getting ready to come out, TMZ was all like, on board with her. And up until recently, and now when they found out, or, they never even really said that it was a false narrative that TMZ had with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And they just stepped back. They did the Michael Jackson step back, moonwalk backwards. They never admitted that, hey, we were told a story, a narrative, and we were sold this narrative, and we followed Gypsy Rose all over the place, and everybody, gave her kudos, and oh, how great she is. And her mother beat her up, and her mother abused her all these years. And now we know that's not true. But yet they don't say that. See, my eyes are getting green. That when spirit comes in, they get greener. But actually my eyes are blue. But when spirit comes in, they match with my mom, and she had hazel eyes. Her eyes would turn from blue to green too, as well. So I went over a lot of law cases, and I watched Timothy. What I do is I turn off the voice, and I just put my hand on my iPad, and I broke like 2 iPads doing this. They burnt out. They burn out with my energy. My phone burns out. iPads burn out, sometimes my TV burns out. And so what that is spirit tells me rely on myself. Okay? And I've been relying a little bit less on cards and more on the old noggin. So I'm gonna show you my cards. What I found out was, okay, even if the the twins, what he's accused of is there were cases, and like I have the notes, I have my receipts, but my book is in the kitchen, so I'll get the book. But first I'll show you my cards, and I'll talk about that a little bit. um I'm go- I'm going to do things backwards. Okay, usually I do all of my notes. I don't know what's wrong with my voice, but please, Archangel Gabriel, help me to express myself and get this video out. Okay, and not keep it in. I don't want to keep it in anymore. But let me just put you down for a second. And so that this is what I've been going through. I've been going through this horrible feeling that I feel like he's guilty. And I know, he's got to go to trial and whatnot. But then he got out of jail. So that's why I have to really say this is allegedly and for entertainment reasons only. And, you know, can I be wrong? Yes, I could be wrong. So this is just my feeling. Okay, I'm not trying to put anybody in jail that doesn't belong there. But if any little kids or any younger people that he was in receipt of, because he was in charge of a whole, 1 second, guys. If you're not drinking enough water, you gotta start drinking more water, right? He was in charge in Tennessee. He was in charge of a whole talent, a talent show, a talent, like bringing in young people, talent agency. Okay, they've already dropped him, so you don't want. That's what they do, because they're trying to get away from. They're trying to distance themselves from him and from also Melissa Gilbert. So it's sad if they are innocent in the eyes of God and the eyes of, and they're innocent, and they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. Then it'll be sad because Hollywood won't hire them. I mean, he's 68, she's 61, and Hollywood's, that's that's up there for actors and actresses, and that's sad, but it's true. It's the truth. But they still could, have other deals going on. Anyhow, when I put my hand on the iPad on his face, right, and I could see some medical problems, and again, this is my opinion. I could be incorrect. And this is only for entertainment reasons only. And this is just for empaths out there. And I'm not a doctor. I just play one on YouTube. No, I'm not even a doctor. So, and you guys know that. I'm just a psychic. I'm just your average, everyday psychic, intuitive, empath, light worker. Okay? And so this is what I see with those big bags under his eyes that are full of water. Yeah, of course, he's stressed out. He's stressed out to the max. Anybody would be. But that's your heart. Whenever you get those, Bill Clinton used to have that. My husband has that. He has heart problems. And when his get really bad, bad and filled up, I say, are you taking your medicine? Did you get enough sleep? Did you get enough rest? And he's also diabetic. So I see heart problems for him. And stress is the number one killer. And, to make things worse. So he's under a lot of stress. So that could be he didn't sleep That could be when he was in jail. He was only in jail for what, a week? Not even. Maybe just 1 week. And so he's out now. Just to cut to the chase, in case you're not following it, he's out. And the judge did not even charge any bail at all. You know why? Because the twins, he's being accused. And I see the alcohol problem. I see, allegedly, I feel it when I put my hand on him. And I see this, a weirdness, creepiness in that, like a sexual deviance, sexual problem. Okay. When you have that, even if you get therapy and medication, you have to be careful that you're not around children or you're not around young people. And that is his job. He's a director, he's in a position of power. People have to wake up. He's in a position of power, or he was in a position of power for many, many years. Award-winning actor, and then created these things working in schools, working in friggin' elementary schools. Okay, so you got to be careful with people like that. So I'm just telling you what I feel. I didn't feel good, but can I be wrong? Yeah, absolutely. I'm big enough, you know, secure enough in my abilities and in have a master's degree and have enough knowledge to know, yeah, you can be incorrect. And if I'm incorrect and they find out all the charges were incorrect, all of them, from 1993, 1994, and who knows how many people keep their mouth shut, right? Because they want to get a paycheck. They want to become an actress or an actor, okay? Or their parents. In the case of the twins, these parents that these twins have are terrible. I don't even know why they're allowed to stay with these parents, okay? It doesn't negate the fact that maybe he did do something, allegedly, that he wasn't supposed to do, inappropriate. Supposedly, that they would always have iPads with them so that the parents could, be in a different place but be able to see their kids at all times. Supposedly, allegedly, I don't know how true this is, but this was said on one of the shows, that Timothy Busfield said, no, I don't want them to have the iPad, or the iPad was turned off. Something like that. I want my kid actors to not have that. I don't know if that's 100,000% true. So I'm just putting it out there, what I heard. Okay, so that's one thing. They're going to try in court, and they already succeeded to get him out on bail, to say that the parents made the kids make up charges because these kids were let go because they got too old, and because they came back, and they grew and they were too old for the part. But Melissa Gilbert was taking them out for dinners and stuff just recently, giving them Christmas present just recently. Why would she be doing that? Just to be nice? Yeah. And I did the dowsing rods on her too. And you're not going to believe what I got. I didn't get bad things on her. I truly didn't get, I wanted to get bad things on her because, like, oh, she has to know she's his wife. And I got that she's like in La La World. That she loves him. And she thinks he's the best person in the world. Okay? So I'm going to tell you everything that I got, whether you want it or not. Okay? And I'm not trying to rhyme this time. Okay? But yeah, I just have to get it off my chest. And I think I'll feel better. But I promise that if he beats all the after the trial, because now he's just going to go home and wait, and I feel like he should be on suicide watch, and the reason being, if you're innocent, why would you want to hurt yourself? Because I feel like there's things that happen in the 90s, in the 2000s, with these kids, without these kids, with other kids, with other people. And a few people, a handful of people have come back, you know, uh, back up. So I'm not saying a person should have their career ruined if they gave a tickle or a hug, inappropriate hug. I don't think hugs are bad. I mean, hug is a hug, right? Shouldn't be forced to give a hug, but these are other allegations of inappropriate tickling, inappropriate touching, and that's my inappropriate kissing, and that should never be done. Okay, so we will see. And kids, when they are first asked, they could lie because they're scared, right? They're scared. Anybody who has been abused might have lied to an adult or a doctor because they are friggin' scared. And so never blame the kids, you know? They are manipulated by adults, and you never, that's what you always have to listen to kids. And I always hold the light for kids because, as a teacher, I'm a mandated reporter, and I have reported many times. And sometimes, maybe, and nothing came out of it. That didn't mean nothing happened. But it's always good to, you know, report if you see something. You have to say something on behalf of a child that cannot say anything. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm gonna go get my book. All right, one second.
Opinion of salmon for the dogs? No.
I don't know that. I don't think they've had it, so they might not like that.
Well, I just read that the stuff that we get, right?
Yeah. Can you tell me later? Because I'm doing a video.
Okay, I just wanted to say that they said that they had allergic reactions to the chicken.
Oh, okay. I'm here. I'm here. Just give me a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I figured like, oh, I don't want to mess around with flavors or whatever, but no, no. Garbage. I have no use for it. I figured you wanted to play with it and fix it or something, but walk that dry. Your opinion on salmon? It's interesting because they're saying that the chicken seems to get a reaction.
Sorry. I had to eat something because I forgot to eat lunch. And I think it's dinner time almost, but I was feeling weird. I don't like the taste of this, but I'm forcing myself to drink it because I have a problem. So, all right, I'm going to do my cards before I do the reading, just so I could say that this is a reading about when I shuffled and I did the dowsing rods. I wrote down, I tapped into Timothy and I wrote down that in my notes. Those I just want to read through after I read these cards because they've been sitting here since yesterday afternoon. And then I was being influenced. I was being influenced by my husband because he was like, "Oh no, they have a tape where the kid's saying, no, nobody did it." It's a hair. Nobody did that to me. Nobody touched me inappropriately. But like I said, the kids told the therapist a different story, and therapists are mandated reporters. Anyhow, I'll just tell you what I felt, what I got energetically, and then I'll read the notes. I already did tell you what I thought. I do think he's guilty of something. So allegedly, he's guilty of, because I do see him drinking. I do see him when he drinks and having a bad temper, and then that perversion comes out. Okay, and I don't understand why his wife doesn't see it and feel it in her gut. Okay, yeah, but I asked the dowsing rods if she would stay with him, and it was yes. It was like staying with a sinking ship. Yes, she will. Yeah. Sorry, I'm drinking a lot, but okay. Let's get to the card. I tried to put my music on. It wouldn't work as usual. So, all right. One of the cards that fell out onto the floor when I was shuffling and trying to hone into him, Timothy Busfield and his situation. Oh, I forgot my lighter. I have to get it. 1 second, guys. I have to get it. Got my lighter. Do you think their heater is too hot now? Okay. That's true. It's gonna get cold. I don't know why this doesn't work. Okay, it does work. Doesn't matter. Okay, so one of the cards that jumped out fell on the floor. I picked it up. I thought it was important, but I said, you know what? Maybe I dropped it. So I put it back in the deck. This is this deck. My good friend. It's the Oracle of Crime. I have other crime decks, but I think they're in the car. Anyway, I just used this one. This is from my friend Kim Magical. And so I put the cards back in the deck. I shuffled again, thought about Timothy Busfield. Okay. And it came back out. It came back out. So it's important. So what it says is the covert conspiracy, a secret plan involving, multiple parties leads to coordinated criminal acts. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are behind this whole thing. Okay. All right. Next one is the subtle crime. And this says a seemingly minor offense leads to significant criminal activities through careful planning. Through careful planning. A seemingly minor offense, maybe for example, hugging, kissing, cuddling, tickling. Okay, that's a seemingly minor offense, leads to significant criminal activities through careful planning. Okay, take it how you will. I know how I take it. This is after I meditated on him. This is after looking at his picture. I didn't want to look at his picture anymore. Okay, the invisible hand. A hidden force controls and directs criminal activities from behind the scenes. That could be Hollywood, right? That could be Warner Brothers, allegedly, for entertainment purposes. A hidden force controls and directs criminal activities from behind the scenes. Okay? Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and we shall see. And like I said, after the trial, if he's totally exonerated from everything, and zero people come up, no more cases come up, and I will do another video. A secret organization uses its influence to control and exploit vulnerable individuals. That's the veil of shadows. A secret organization uses its influence to control and exploit vulnerable individuals. Okay? It's not good. According to the cards, the obscured path. Evidence is deliberately altered or hidden, making it challenging to trace criminal actions. Evidence is deliberately altered or hidden. Get it? Making it challenging to trace criminal actions. So that's a cover-up. But I feel like there's a certain, there's a police detective. There's a few. There's a woman and a male. They're both like police, and there's actually FBI is going to get involved. And they're not going to stop until they get all the answers. Why? This case means something very, very close to their heart. Either themselves or a family member was involved with, like, doing, I wanted to say a soap opera, but then at first I saw a commercial, like doing a commercial, maybe a couple of commercials, and maybe they had a small part. And that's why it hits their heart. So both a male and female law enforcement, and I told you FBI will get involved, and they won't stop until more people are going to come to the forefront. Okay, and that's always good, but their team is also very, very, very strong, and to diffuse, they're going to diffuse, you can't put somebody in jail for a hug. You can't put somebody in jail because they tickled them, because the father was standing right there or the mother was standing right there and said, oh yeah, if you tickle them, that'll get them, relaxed and silly and in the mood for acting. Okay? Because that was something else I heard. And so there's going to be a lot of negating but what you don't understand, what maybe some people do understand, is that he's gotten away with this. And a lot of people have gotten away with hurting and being a pervert to young kids, teenage girls, young guys, young boys. Okay? And the light is coming on these things. Organizations will be broken. They will try to just blame it on this one person, this one actor, this one situation. But they're behind it too, because it's a whole house of cards that has to come down. Okay. I feel very, very, very strict on this. And kids and young people that are going into acting have to be treated better. I mean, their lives are forever changed, and lots of them take their own life because they get involved with drugs or drinking, and they have a terrible life because of what has happened to them as a child in the industry. Okay, the false security. A created sense of safety lures individuals into a trap, leading to criminal exploitation. Now, the cards never lie. I think that was really, I mean, you tell me, please tell me in the comments what you think about those cards. Now, let me count how many cards that was, because I wasn't even going to do them, because me and my husband were having this debate. And he was like, you don't want to ruin somebody's reputation. And I'm not. That's why I say allegedly. And I could be wrong. I could be incorrect. And if I am, after the trial, I will come back with a follow-up. Okay? But I can only give you what I see. And I see this creepy thing happening. And it's a horrible thing. And it's covered up. It's covered up with money. It's covered up with other people. And it's allowed. And he was empowered. And then he's like, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'll go to therapy. And whether he goes to therapy or not, if you have this affliction, you can't be around kids. That would be like take Charles Manson or take Ted Bundy and put him as a teacher in the classroom. Can't do it. Put him in a college classroom. Right? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was only 6 cards. And all of them was so important. Especially this one. Okay? The covert conspiracy. A secret plan involving multiple profiles lead to coordinated criminal acts. Okay, I apologize for my hair. I told you I've been having so many knots because because it's windy out. But I'm gonna put a conditioner in it, a conditioning mask. But you're not here for my hair. You're here for the commentary, hopefully. And please give me some comments so that we can have a discussion on this. If you're interested. Okay, let me just go to the section on Timothy Busfield. Okay, now I'm just going to straight up read my notes, and hopefully it'll make sense. I was going to do a live on this, but I can't because I absorb the energy of the people, and this is a very serious subject for me, and I get all, like, I have ADD, so I get all, like, my mind goes too many directions, and I try to answer the people and have a discussion. Maybe the next time I can have a discussion, depending on, if people want to. But I absorb, like, if it was alive, I would want to talk to, usually I only have like 5 people in the audience or 10 people, and I would want to talk to them and, like, see if they have questions. but I don't want to feel that energy because I wanted to get this information out because it's been haunting me and I have such horrific nightmares. And I just think that maybe this will help me because there's so much stuff in this brain of mine, um, that I want to just get it out, and then that'll be a little bit. I was supposed to do a read on Nick Reiner because I have notes on him too. And I just didn't want to. The more I looked into it, it was just terrible. It's such a, like, you guys could just watch my video and then just go on with your business, go on with your day. Me, um, that energy stays, even though I pray. Praying helps, saging, that's why I have, this is white sage that's lit, and then I will do Palo Santo afterwards. But it stays with me, and I just don't want to sit in that energy of Nick Reiner because I could just say it in a nutshell. He was entitled. The parents tried everything that they could think of. Maybe they needed more tough love, and uh, you know, giving him 10,000 a month was not the deal. And sometimes when you have mental illness mixed with drug addiction, you cannot, especially as senior citizens, parents, you cannot keep them. I know that you have all the money in the world. That doesn't, my mother used to say that. You can have all the money in the world and still have loads of problems and even more problems. Okay? So all the money in the world isn't going to solve his problem that he had in his mind. Okay, so he should have been, and I'm a strong believer in bringing back um, places that keep people for as long as you need. If they can't go into society at all, you know, there has to be safe places for people with mental illness, and there has to be programs. And he went through everything. His parents did everything, but you know, maybe they were numb to the way he was abusive to them. Okay, and so I'm sorry for talking about him. I don't want to spend any more time or energy on him because it's so terrible. And it was like I was dreaming that I was the sister and I took on her energy, and it's like every single day she thinks about her mother and father, and every single day she also thinks about her brother. And it was so horrible. um she was picking up the phone to talk to them, and she realized that they weren't gonna answer. And I don't know what happened to the dogs. At least one dog that was in there. Let me change this. The bell sometimes changes the energy. No, that does feel better. That feels better. Okay. All right. Timothy Busfield has that for a change. Timothy Busfield is a 68-year-old man, Gemini. He was born on June 12th, I believe 1958. Okay, but definitely June 12th. Okay. The show that he allegedly was accused of abusing the twins is called The Cleaning Lady. I don't think I have it. I don't think I've seen it. I don't get Hulu. So I don't think it's on Netflix. Let me see. Echo, is the show The Cleaning Lady on Netflix?
The Cleaning Lady is available with Amazon Prime Video and HBO Max Global subscriptions and for free on Plex. By the way, you have a new notification. Do you want to hear it?
No, thank you. Okay. All right. So he he was in that show, and he was also in the show 30 something. Okay, but it's the cleaning lady show that he's being in trouble with, charged with, allegedly. Okay, Laura Ingalls is Melissa Gilbert. She played Laura Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. They are married since 2013. Okay, she bought the twins gifts, took them out to dinner just recently, like for Christmas. And I'm wondering why, because why were they in contact? Because this show ended, the twins were off the show, I think a year ago or 2 years ago. So, and then when he was asked about it, when Timothy was asked about it, the allegations, at first he said, "Oh yeah, I used to just hug them and tickle them sometimes." And then he changed his mind and said, "I don't know who they are. I don't remember them." Sorry. See, when I do the Palo Santo, it does help. It really does. The white sage is good. The white sage is what you see and has a steady flow. I burned a lot of it today. I was preparing, doing the dowsing rods, writing my notes, and just burning it, and that helped a lot. But the sage, the Palo Santo, is you don't have to open anything up to let anything else out. Okay, so just in case people didn't know, Laura Ingalls from Little House on the Prairie is his wife. Her name is Melissa Gilbert. Okay, he has done this essay in the past. Sometimes this is allegedly. They call it grooming. This essay is sexual abuse, and EA is emotional abuse. When you're in a position of power, like you're the director or even an actor, a fellow actor, and you're older than somebody, or even some girls that came forward, they were teenagers or even 20 or even 18, 17, 16. He's in a position of power. He's like 30 years old or so. Anyhow, I got bad temper, bad reality. Bad reality. I don't know what I meant by bad reality. Don't you want your parents and your family and yourself to have lots of money? I don't know where I'm getting this, but sometimes when I'm channeling, I write down what I hear. All right, so I got, and the bad reality means something. I don't know, maybe he said that word. What bad reality is, all right, so he has two sides. He's a Gemini, so most Geminis do. You know, they represent twins and they have two sides. And one side is the real jovial, the clownish type, a charming, charmer, sweet, compassionate, funny, loving. And then the other side could be a whole different ball game that he struggled with his whole life. I'm hearing that, okay? So, just when you watch me, you know, I might say something that doesn't clock because I'm getting it intuitively. So, this is an intuitive reading mixed with some of the facts, okay? Don't you want your parents and your family and yourself to have lots of money to buy whatever you want? That's what I heard. And then I wrote down, MG, will you get a divorce? And I wasn't getting that. I wasn't getting that. I asked the dowsing rods that. Because at first I thought, just intuitively, I looked at her picture and I said yes. And then there was a fog there, and it was like a blindness to, you know, when you have a little kid and you go to school, you drop them off at school, and then you pick them up and the teacher says, listen, I have to tell you, your child bit 3 kids, stole somebody's snack, took somebody else's lunch, didn't do the assignments with me. And you're like, really? They're so good at home. It's that blindness that you don't want to see this. You don't want to see this reality, because then you have to do something about it. Okay? But I hear fights. I do hear fights that they have had. They've had discussions. They've had arguments. It's making me nervous. There's a nervous thing. There's a thing that's not sitting well. Something with the jacuzzi. But it might be them with the jacuzzi. Okay. So MG saw something and okay, this makes sense. MG, so Melissa Gilbert, his wife, saw something and she had a pit in her stomach. She tried to unsee it. And now I'm seeing like the bubbles in a jacuzzi, and I'm seeing her feeling like happy, coming out and maybe leaving the jacuzzi to go back and get some more drinks. But when she came back, she saw something she didn't like, and it involved somebody else. Okay, so of course, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, and I could be wrong. Don't pay attention to me. I'm just some, nobody on the internet, or am I? Okay, anyhow, sorry, that creeped me out. That creeped me out. I creep myself out. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so Melissa Gilbert, saw something. She had a pit in her stomach. She tried to unsee it. She asked him about it, and he lied. 2 boys got counseling. The abuse came up to the surface. Not at first, later on. A child actor attempted suicide. Oh my God. I forgot I wrote these notes. Okay. So this was in my first sit down when I've been doing this for a couple of days, and that's why I got to get it out now, because I've been doing the cards. I only pick 6, but I sit here shuffling, thinking about it, saying his name, writing his name down, tapping into it, right? Serial. He's done it before. He's even asked God to help him. And sometimes he's good for long periods of time. Sorry if you're hearing my stomach. Okay. So a child actor, allegedly, this is my notes from my meditation, a child actor attempted suicide because of TB, because of Timothy Busfield. But I don't think he did it. He just attempted, and he wasn't successful, so thank God. This is somebody else. This isn't the 11-year-old boy's twins. This is somebody else. That was a child actor in his receipt. Okay. Crimes against minors. A 17-year-old girl came up. $150,000 was given for them to keep quiet. 1996 and 2022. And people have been watching him. But the first group of investigators were from Warner Brothers, I believe. And like Warner Brothers has their own inward investigators. And of course, it was squashed. But the outside investigators, I see money being handed to people. I see deals being made. And it's not good. And Missouri is going down. Missouri's going down. Meaning a lot of things are coming to light in Missouri. Okay, so I have Timothy Busfield, TB, I call him TB. TB has 2 personalities. More people will come out. TB has grown children. I think he has 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. Melissa Gilbert has 2 sons, and they're grown, and I think they have a granddaughter. Minnesota is going down. Minnesota is going down. Okay, 4 to 5 cases that we know about. One is the twin boys, but you could actually say that's 2 cases because it's one boy, what he did to one boy, what he did to the other boy, allegedly. And then there's a 17-year-old girl. She's not 17 now, but she talks about what happened. And then I wrote number 4. But I really believe they just showed me number 9. They just showed me up to 9. Okay. His hair will be white. His hair will be gray, then white in jail. So it's already like that. I don't know if he dyes it or not, but he used to be orange. Yeah, orange jumpsuit. It's weird that I said his hair used to be orange. Then I wrote down orange jumpsuit, which he was in, but now he's out of it. But my feeling is he's gonna go back. And when I did the dowsing rods, I got at least 10 years. Okay, back and hip issues and heart issues. That's what I got for him. Blood pressure really high. Back and hip issues. Like I could see him limping one side. Gets heavy, then he gets very thin. Yeah, so I feel like this is in maybe even before prison. I just see him like yo-yo. Maybe it's medication. Maybe when he's on medication, he goes back and forth. Gets very heavy, and then I don't know if that makes any difference to anybody. But it could be stress, it could be metabolism. Little Big League, during the Little Big League, 17 something happened with the 17-year-old girl. January 13th, Colin Swift. No, these are facts. Colin Swift was the father of the 16-year-old girl. He kissed her and put his hands down her pants. And she told her father, and her father said, that he was gonna go to the cops. And Timothy Busfield promised to get therapy. And since this girl's father was a therapist himself, he said, okay, that sounds good. But I think there was money. I'm not 100% sure if there was money exchanged. But anyhow, this poor girl, that's what I mean. They're going to find that some parents are not good parents and didn't protect their children, as well as TB not being good. Okay, I wrote down ED and limp dick. I don't know if he has that problem, but I know it's weird, but ED, limp dick. I got a bipolar double personality. That could be helped with medication and therapy, but I also got that. Okay, you could read it for yourself. He's in a being in a power position. He's an adult actor, and often he would say, I'm an adult actor that won awards and I can help you in your career. He has one personality, I talked about it before, very charming and endearing and loving, like a teddy bear. Very good with children, right? And then his other part is very ornery, very ego based and very cranky and a tyrant. Yeah, sometimes he was the happy-go-lucky clown, the joker, past taker, fast talker. Okay, yeah, I have to learn how to spell when I'm channeling. A fast talker. Yeah, he could sell ice to an Eskimo when he felt like it. And then when he's in his cranky personality, um, I just heard Mr. Blue. I don't know if somebody called him Mr. Blue or called that side of him Mr. Blue. But he would be hurtful with his words. He could make somebody feel so terrible. On the same in the same way he could build them up, especially kids and young people. Hollywood, Warner Brothers, a cesspool of filth and degeneracy. Okay? I'm not the only one that says that. Absolutely shocking that someone from Hollywood is a sex offender, said no one ever. I saw that quote and I said, I got to write that down. Absolutely shocking. It's absolutely shocking that somebody from Hollywood is a sex offender, allegedly, said no one ever. Okay. Warner Brothers, the attorneys,
He's lost his job anyway. Fuck them. Take them with him.
okay. I don't know. I had a thought, but I'm not well with it, so I'm not going to say it yet. Okay, so everybody's a mandated reporter. These therapists, parents, people on the set, attorneys, they're all mandated reporters, right? Anybody who witnessed it, you know. So I don't know if more people are hiding it or more people. No, he's just a great guy. It didn't happen, you know. So we'll see. We'll put it in the court of law. Child sex abuse, sex offender, something. I feel like something big in 1993 and 1994, but I don't have it in my hands. Something in 2021, actually 2022 too, but not laying low in 2024 and 2025 because all of what also the accusation, like I feel like he has good years, like good sets of years, a couple of years, he'd be really, really good. And all the good parts of him. All right, so November 2024, therapy started with the twins, inappropriate touching, they said, and then kissing. Those are all signs of grooming. That's why, people are worried, about if there's grooming going on behind the scenes of the show. February 2025, the boy that took over said he kissed the boy when he was getting a haircut. So when a kid is getting a haircut, you're underneath this, like, I don't know, apron thing. And so you can't even put your arms up. So you're kind of like helpless. And somebody was cutting his hair and he kissed him on the face or the mouth, okay, while he was getting his hair cut. And people have said that Timothy Busfield was drunk. Mad at his dad. Okay, so one of the little boys, when he was being like inappropriately touched, allegedly by TB, said he was mad at his father. And the therapist said, why were you mad at your father if this guy was touching you inappropriately? And he said, because I thought my father saw it on the iPad, because we're supposed to have they're supposed to be able to see everything on the iPad. So why wouldn't my father say anything about it? So I thought he was allowing Tim Timothy Busfield to do that to me. So that's really effed up. And so a big thing is with the iPad. I wonder if they can get, like some kind of history on the iPad, because that would prove the case. If Timothy said, no iPads allowed, turn off your iPad, or if indeed that father was allowing his child to be groomed. Either way, we have to get justice for these children. We have to get justice for anybody who was abused. Okay? So, him saying that hit me really deeply, because imagine the anguish of that kid and both children, but the anguish that that child felt by saying, I'm mad at my father, not being mad at Timothy Busfield. He was mad at his father because he thought his father was watching it happening and didn't say anything about it, didn't try to prevent it. And he was scared because people are being mean. He wanted to do everything to please his father and his mother. Both kids said that. 80% children that are sexually abused or even emotionally abused, 80% of them will delay to disclose. Okay? That's why, you have to watch other things. You have to watch if they wet the bed. You have to watch if they're having nightmares. This person over here. But I think my nightmares are from my psychicness. Anyhow. But 80% of children delay. Okay, so maybe all right, so when Timothy Busfield was asked, he did say at first, or maybe I tickled them to be playful, to get them ready for the scene. And the father was right there and said, yeah, tickle him, hug him. So he was allowing it. If that is true, then the father was part of grooming. And the father should be put in jail. And the kids should not be with parents that aren't taking care of them, their best interest, just using them as cash cow. Okay? I'm not gonna friggin' let this go. This better get figured out, and this better be investigated, and I'm not gonna be quiet about it. Okay? Because I have a bad feeling, and usually 99% of the time my gut feeling is right. And I stopped listening to my gut. When I was a kid, my mother used to always say, your first feeling is usually right. Go with it. Stop second guessing your gut feeling. And when I listened to it, things would go smoothly. When I went against it and I listened to other people, that's when there are problems. So I'm not gonna. I'm an advocate for children. I try to find the missing children and people, and especially anybody who's abused, because so many kids are killed or they take their own life because they can't stop thinking about when they were abused. Okay, so inappropriate behavior. Then he took it back and he said, I don't even know who those boys are. Well, if your wife just took them out to dinner this Christmas and gave them presents this Christmas, okay, a couple of weeks ago was Christmas, right? Last month was Christmas. Then that indeed means you are still in contact with them, if that's the correct dates. Okay, October 2025, the boys disclosed the abuse. Some people were around and some people would leave. Okay, he would tickle, there's a quote from one of the boys. He would tickle and pick up the boys. He then took that statement back. That's what I just said. And said, I don't remember those boys. The kids were not always supervised. Basically, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, they're saying the parents knew about the abuse. That they're trying to flip it and say that the parents are just doing this because the father was a lawyer that isn't this book cute? The father was a lawyer that took a lot of people's money and lost his lawyer license, legal license, lawyer's license. Um and I think he went to jail or prison for a time. And the mother had a gambling issue. But let's not take away. Yeah, they could be terrible people. They could be horrible, terrible parents. But let's focus on the kids. Let's focus on what the kids said and then deal with it. Maybe the kids need to be taken away from the parents as we, intervene. You know, if they're not treating these kids right, then we got to get the kids safe. But all right, that's my reading. I got to stop now because it's getting dark and I still have to go to the store. But I love you guys. Please give me questions. Otherwise, I'll feel like I don't make any sense at all. Um, give me questions, and if there's another person you want me to read on, let me know. If you want me to read more into this, I have all different kinds of cards. But I feel like I'm gonna just wait now because then I don't want anybody to sue me. But I will stand up for the children at all times, and if it's embarrassing for me, even if it's embarrassing for me, it's for the kids. If I have to, if he is totally innocent and we find out everybody was lying, everybody, because I told you more people are coming, at least 9. It'll be 9 altogether. So it's the 2 kids that we know about and 2 girls, a 17-year-old girl and then a 16-year-old girl, I believe. Okay, anyhow, uh I know more stuff, but I'm not gonna repeat it. You could just Google it and find out a few things about him. But I'm just telling you what I see psychically, and it's not good, and what I feel intuitively, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Um, Justice for children, justice for the abused, justice for the emotionally abused, physically abused, and always children are number one. And if Missouri has to come down, and if Warner Brothers has to come down, and Disney has to come down, and Hollywood, let's get it down. Let's take it down. Because I'm sick of perverts ruining kids, ruining people, even adults could have been ruined by this perversion, and it's not acceptable. It was never acceptable, and just by throwing money at it and giving people jobs, um, we can't do it. And everybody wants to eat, and everybody wants to have a home and be able to pay their bills and a car. Um, but the thing is, we can't sell our soul to the devil and take care of kids at the same time, and try to have a career. Never sell your soul to the devil. It's not worth it. God is the only way. Love you. Namaste. Sorry, that was so friggin' intense. Now I feel like I have to take a shower in sea salt. But I'll take a shower after I get back from the store. Love you guys. Namaste. I'm gonna throw out this. Here, let me show you how I rip it up. Okay. Namaste.